Boom! Yes folks, Hume again. How are you going? So welcome to another in our series of videos where we're talking about elections 2020, the marginal seats, the election selection. In this video we're going to deal with the marginal seat of Chaguanas East. Remember, my definition of marginal for my analysis is any seat that would have changed hands at least once during the last 3 electoral cycles of 41 seats. Alright? Now, of course, within those 14 seats that we see as marginal, there are some that are a little less marginal than others. Others will be a little more marginal. Alright? Chaguanas East is one of those seats that, on inspection of the figures, you have to conclude that it is not as marginal as people think. Right? For some reason, everybody has Chaguanas East down as a marginal seat. Looking at these figures here, I don't really see why, but hopefully when I go through the figures, you'll get a sense of what I am talking about and why I am saying what I am saying. So, in terms of placement, UNC column versus PNM column, I would place Chaguanas East firmly in the UNC column, so that in terms of the projection at this point in time, where the first 30 seats have been covered by my analysis, we would have the UNC with 16 and the PNM with 14. We have 11 seats still to account for. We will do that in future videos, but for now, let us go straight to the graph so you can see the numbers and get a sense of what we're talking about. Right, so here we are with the graph pertaining to Chaguanas East. Alright, so this here is the 2007 poll, this is the 2010 poll, and this is the 2015 poll. This here is the projection for 2020. So in 2007, the non-PNM votes totaled 55.4% versus 41.1% for the PNM. The non-PNM percentage in 2010 was 61.5% versus 38.1% for the PNM. And in 2015, the non-PNM percentage was 56.1% versus 43.9% for the PNM. Now, we know that in 2007, the PNM would have won Chaguanas East in that election. So we need to break that down a little more. In 2007, the PNM polled 6,757 votes. The UNCA polled 4,993 votes, and the COP polled 4,122. So a quick addition would show that the non-PNM votes would have exceeded the PNM votes. The non-PNM votes totaled 9,115, and the PNM votes, the same 6,757. The difference there would have been, let us see, 9,115 minus 6,757 is equal to 2,358. So in terms of raw votes, the PNM actually had a minority by just about 2,400 votes, difference of 14.3. However, because of the first pass, simply the one by a tally of 60, the PNM would have won 6,757 over the UNCA 14. Alright, so 6,757 minus 4,993 is equal to 6,757 minus 4,993 is equal to 1,764. So the PNM would have beaten the nearest rival by 1,764 votes. However, in terms of the overall PNM versus non-PNM, the PNM would have lost handily there. Now in 2010, the opposition was more or less united, so that even though we had two other parties at play, UNC and the NNV only got 39 votes, so we could count them basically as an also ran in that particular race. The UNC would have polled 10,797 in 2010, and in 2015, the PNM would have polled 6,770. Right? So strangely enough, between 2007 and 2010, the PNM only lost, sorry, I'm supposed to be focusing on this red line here. The PNM only lost 40 votes, right? But because of an ever increasing electorate, well, actually the electorate didn't increase by that much. The electorate only increased by about just under 100 votes. But anyway, it dropped from 41.1% to 38.1%. So it's a small drop, right? The count, more or less, you could count it as the same for all intents and purposes. However, 2015 now is where the things start to get interesting, because we dropped from 61.5 to 56.1% for the non-PNM, and the PNM would have jumped from 38.1 to 43.9%. So that is an increase of 5.8%. That is nothing to sneeze at. Quite handy, but as it turned out, it still wasn't enough to overtake the non-PNM forces here in 2020. So in 2020, the UNC would have gotten 9,284, the PNM would have gotten 7,860, and the ILP would have gotten 771. So basically, let us see, the distance in 2015 would have been 9,284 minus 7,860 equal 1424. Right. So the thing about it here is that the PNM's voter tally between 2015 and 2020 increased by 1,143 votes, right? So with an extra 1,100 votes, the PNM jumping from 38.1 to 43.9 still wasn't enough to overtake the UNC, whose voter turnout actually dropped from 10,797 to 9,284 is equal to. So the UNC actually lost 1,500 votes between 2010 and 2015. The UNC, right? The UNC would have been the main part of any non-PNM coalition here. So the UNC dropped 1,500 votes. The PNM gained just over 1,100 votes. So of course, that still would not have been enough to overturn the massive gap in 2010, which would have been, let us see, 10797 minus 6717 equal 4,080. So the PNM would have lost by 4,080 votes in 2010. So even increasing by 1,000, just 1,100, and even in the face of a decrease in the UNC of 1,500, you still have this big gap here in 2015. 56.1% for the non-PNM votes and 43.9% for the PNM. So in the face of these kinds of figures, it is very difficult to call Chaguanas East a marginal in the true sense of the word, and it is very difficult to predict anything else other than a UNC victory in 2020, sorry, in the next general election. In terms of the projections based on the graph that we have here, my projections for the non-PNM votes has 58.4% for the non-PNM votes, and the PNM votes would be 43.9%. So if the PNM gets 43.9% in this 2020 poll, what that would mean would be that the PNM again would increase its voter turnout in terms of raw votes, right? So having gotten 7,860 votes in 2015, if the percentage remains the same, it means that the PNM would actually get more votes, more net votes then, all right? What the actual figure will be based on the final electoral listing of the EBC whenever that comes out. Good. So based on this trend, we can expect the PNM to increase its voter turnout. However, whether or not that increase in votes would be enough to overturn this gap in 2015, but we will see what happens. So I will call Chaguanas East for the UNC until something else happens to show otherwise. Alright? So that's it for now, and we're going to go back to the whiteboard for some final comments. Good. So you see the kind of figures we're talking about. Alright? So I am hard pressed, a person, even as somebody who would prefer to see the PNM win the election, and I'm not even trying to hide that, right? I am hard pressed to declare Chaguanas East as a PNM. I mean, come on, we don't want to get into the whole business of lying, right? You look at the numbers, you see certain patterns, and I mean, what else you could see? All right. So unless something big happens on the ground, and big as in really big, right? I don't expect the PNM to win Chaguanas East. And if they do, it will be very, very close. Very, 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 very close. Because as it stands now, the PNM has to move mountains to even get close to the UNC voter turnout in Chaguanas East. And let us assume, for the sake of argument, that those mountains are being moved as we speak. Then expect, if it is that the PNM actually gets close, it will be close. Right? The PNM not, if the PNM wins Chaguanas East, it's not going to be a win as in win by 1,500 votes or win by 2,000 votes. No, it will be probably less than 500. A win of Barataria, San Juan, Moruga, Tableland dimensions. Alright, but we'll get to those two later down the road. So again, I am calling Chaguanas East at this point in time for the UNC column in UNC. Alright, good. So we finished with that. So let me talk a little bit about my mathematics offerings now. So people of Chaguanas, Chaguanas East, Chaguanas West, Chaguanas everywhere, people of Central Trinidad, I have this little platform that I'm offering. Alright, the Road to January. It is an online platform where I basically have videos that I'm putting up topic by topic. So last week we would have finished Pythagoras theorem. This week we're on trigonometry, and we go in week by week, topic by topic. So basically what that means is that we're not going to be doing factorization and wages and salaries and significant figures in September and October. So I want to caution all the people who are thinking about doing the exam in January. If you're even thinking about it, spend a $500 and jump on my platform now. Alright? $500 for the rest of 2020. You can't get it better than that. Alright? I'm giving people an incentive to do the exam in January because of the situation with the Form 5s and the CXC exam this year and thing. But we discussed that in other videos already. Alright? So get on board. Alright? If you're doing the exam private, you have the online platform. All you have to do is find the time at your convenience. Right? If you're in Form 5 and you're doing the exam in July here, and you're looking to do the exam over in January to get a proper grade, then after the July exams finish here, then you follow my platform, get your revision going, alright? Kind of strengthen areas where you might be weak, do your questions and all of that, and put yourself in a good position for the exam in January. And if you're in Form 4 going into Form 5, then as I always advise anybody who comes in me for maths, if you're in Form 5, you could do the January exam. Do the January exam as a stepping stone to the final exam in June. Alright? And if we take in that approach, then the best thing to do is to start your preparation as early as possible. Get some kind of rhythm in terms of the exam preparation, in terms of how you go about taking this thing seriously. Don't wait until September to start preparing for the January exam. That is wasting your time. It will be wasting the time of whoever teacher you go by. Whatever lessons you go by, you're wasting their time. Alright? I am setting this up so you wouldn't waste my time. Because if you're coming by me in October, then trust and believe we're not going to be doing the earlier topics. Wherever we are at that point, you just have to fall in. So fall in now. Alright? Again, $500 for the rest of the year. And for those of you who are doing AdMaths, we have something coming up for you all. So stay close. Alright? We will announce that very shortly. So that is it for now. We covered Chaguanas East today. We will cover other marginal seats at a later date. So stay in tune. Like the Facebook page, Hume Maths. Keep in touch with the elections. And also keep in touch with your mathematics and your additional mathematics. All right, so take care, have a good day, and boom boom boom.